it's CEO here, and this video is going to be a follow-up video of my previous video where I was warning you about islands getting banned. I know this video caused a lot of uproar and a lot of people being worried about people visiting their islands and uploading a dream address. Even in the comments of my video about islands getting banned, I know a lot of you had some worries, and they're very legitimate. I honestly wasn't trying to scare you with that video, but I simply wanted to put the warning out there in the Animal Crossing community. But that video did leave a lot of questions unanswered, and I wanted to get to the bottom of this whole situation. So I'm very happy to say that I was able to get in contact with the creator of this program that's duplicating islands. I was able to interview him and have him answer so many of your questions, even a lot of questions I had that I didn't know the answers to. The interview is kind of long, but I'm going to include it in its entirety in this video. I also wanted to say that this creator, who goes by Poyo, was not the person actually duplicating these islands and then selling them illegally. Poyo made this program for good, not evil, so please don't send any hate his way. If you have any questions after you watch the interview, be sure to leave them in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more news about the Animal Crossing community. Like this video if you liked it, and hit the bell button to get notified when I post more videos. Alright, let's get into the interview. So I guess I'll start. How did you get into Animal Crossing initially?
Like in modding or just in general?
Both.
Okay, so essentially when I was like little, I had a Nintendo DS and I played the game with my sister a lot, and she used to read me the texts because I played it before I was able to read, and it was like, I think it was Animal Crossing Wild World that we played a lot. And then when I became older, we played New Leaf, and through that game, I got a bit more in like the modding scene, because it was like when you went online in that game, there were a lot of people using cheats and, different tools, modded their save files. I don't know, it was just, at first it was interesting to me, just out of the aspect of like, I can get any item I want or whatever, but like later I became like more obsessed with like, or not obsessed, but became more interested in computers and programming. So from that aspect, it became interesting as well. And yeah, now I made like I made the tool that is so controversial now. I really like the games, though. That's why I wanted to make that tool anyway.
Right, because from what I can tell, you wanted to make it so people could save their islands and like have a copy and like have like a basically an extra save for people who really like their islands.
Yeah, it was more so because eventually, like, the game will, like, probably not in the next few years, but still in like a couple of decades, the game you won't be able to go online. And I don't know, I just wanted to save like some experiences for people. Later on, they can probably just play it in an emulator and just go through like, oh yes, this is my island. I really liked building it myself, and I didn't really expect it for people, to copy people's islands in like the way that they do it now, where they pretend that it's their own and re-upload it or whatever. As I said, it was more so like an archival project. Also because it was interesting coding-wise, because it was like, I figured out how the game does it, and I should have thought of the ethics more, like retrospectively.
Did you like promote your program at all? Because from what I know, when I've talked to people, they're like, oh, we can't tell anybody. Was your program, are you trying to like make people aware of it, or was it more like for personal use, or were you trying to give it to like select people that you knew?
So like it's publicly visible on my GitHub, where you can like download programs and look at the source code of that. I didn't really promote it at first. I think I did a Reddit post once, but that was like for a very different version of the tool. Since now people can use it freely without having to ask me for it, I don't share it like with my friends anymore. But like before, I had like a select group of friends that I usually gave the tool to, and just been like, yeah, you can just get some inspiration from other islands. Also told them I don't want them to like, abuse it in any way.
So I'd like to
But
clarify something. I know a lot of people in the YouTube video I made were kind of worried, and they were worried about, do you need to visit their dream address and or visit their island online? Or are you able to grab any island save that has uploaded a dream and you don't have to visit?
So when you have the dream address, you can always visit, through the dream suite or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called now, but you can just
Mm-hmm.
visit them anyway. But if you like, it can only be done when you actually are in game and visiting them. Connect to Nintendo servers in any way. It's just takes the island that you're currently visiting because it's in system memory and it just
Mm-hmm.
copies it to a different file. So like you can look at it later again.
And from what I saw already with the save,
Mm-hmm.
you can only, once it's extracted and it's the DAT files, you can only ever put it on a modded Switch. And people with non-modded
That
Switches can't use it.
That's partially true. You have to like you can get it on non-modded switches, but like that you would do with
Oh.
the options that Nintendo gives you. Like you can either use the island transfer tool to do it locally, or there's also like I forgot what it's called, but you can do like this cloud backup, and then like when you log like I've seen people that did that for other people, but like the person with the modded switch, they logged into the account of the person that wanted that island. That's also how that's mostly what people did on like on Taobao, like the Chinese website where they sell dream islands and whatever. When they log into the person's account that wants the island, they upload it into the cloud, and then the person that wants it can locally get that island from the cloud onto their non-modded switch.
Interesting. Okay, okay. So
But it all
you're not like hacking Nintendo servers. You're not going into their like database and taking out
no, no,
code.
no. It just happens like how it's supposed to be. Your switch requests the island data,
Hmm.
either like from a dream or locally. It works
Hmm.
how Nintendo wants it to, and but then my tool
Interesting.
grabs that information and puts it in the file. Yes.
So your tool is kind of acting
No.
like a pseudo cloud. So you said the you can get a non-modded switch can grab the save data through that the cloud backup that Nintendo has. Is that was that right?
No, no, I was talking about how you can get those save files, those copied save files onto a non-modded switch. That isn't like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's not grabbing it from the cloud. It's just it's like you visit a dream or a different island from a friend. It all puts the island data into system memory, and the tool just grabs
Mm.
that data and puts it into a file. It's not it's not involved in anything requesting from Nintendo servers or from the cloud. It's just it's just copies from the local memory, and it's like everything else just works how it's supposed to. But obviously this leaves like this option to copy
Mm-hmm.
the save file from memory because
Right.
it's not protected in any way.
Makes sense. Makes sense. From like my own experience with Switch modding, it's very easy just copy paste an island file.
Yes,
Yeah, so
yes,
I get
but
it.
like what I wanted to address as well, um, when you visit an island, or from a dream or from someone like from a dodo code or whatever, it does not include the entire island. I think in my post I already explained somehow that it doesn't have like the identification to go online and everything. It also doesn't include stuff like your friend list, your
Mm.
letters and whatever. So like all personal data and identification for the island to go online is not available in the memory, which is why the tool copies it over a normal file. So it
Mm.
just copies the map data, the players, but it doesn't have the functionality to go online with that data without making further modifications.
Okay, okay.
Like like you need those identifications to then be able to upload a dream or visit someone else online, and those modifications can be done. I left that option open in my tool to potentially help people recover their islands. So you can like take their current save file, copy the old data from a dream onto it, and then get it back to them, which
Mm.
I've already done a couple of times, and so far it didn't didn't end in any bans or whatever.
It's good to know. It's good to know. Because, yeah, a lot of people were worried about their islands getting copied and then having those copies out there and Nintendo, kind of getting flagged those copies even exist. If you're saying the islands can't go online without those further modifications, do people need to worry about their copied island, like being out there, potentially flagging Nintendo's ban criteria?
So I think they should be worried about, yes, it can still be copied and can be re-uploaded and everything, but for Nintendo to actually trace back that there are like multiple of the same island, it doesn't have, as I said earlier, like this really crucial data that holds like identification, personal data,
Mm,
your Nintendo
okay.
Network ID, and that sort of stuff. When they re-upload, they use their own
Mm-hmm.
identification, which is why you could potentially report those re-uploads, which would trace back to the actual person that re-uploaded the dream. It shouldn't affect the person that originally created the island.
All right, that's great to know. And a lot of people will be relieved to hear that because a lot of my viewers, they have like these amazing islands and they were afraid they were going to get deleted. So, thank you for clarifying that. I really appreciate it.
I don't really know. Like in the post you retweeted on Twitter, they said that it could potentially lead to bans. I don't know where they took that information from. I think it was just like, to some degree, it was just like, be careful. This could potentially lead to bans. However, I didn't have anyone tell me that the person that originally created the dream doesn't have a modded Switch got banned for it. And I think if that would have happened already, I think the outbreak over the situation would have occurred much earlier. Like,
Mm,
of course, if like anyone was banned for no reason or for not their own fault, it obviously would have gotten, it would have created a massive outcry. But so far, it's just like this hypothetical. You could maybe be banned, which I personally don't think that could happen. But I don't want to, I don't want to say it won't happen. I don't like,
mm.
I personally think it won't, but I don't know what Nintendo does. Like, they don't communicate their sort of like rules for bans properly. So it's all just speculation.
So have you watched the controversial video that was circulating in Cat Crossing's post with those screenshots? Were you able to find that video and watch it?
Yes, I've watched it. I haven't fully watched it though. It was like, I think I won't disclaim the source, but I think people can find it anyway. It's like a 40-minute video. I didn't watch it all through. I've been in contact with the creator and I was like, "Hey, it's cool that you show how to use my tool and whatever." As I said, I didn't watch it through. Maybe I should have
Mm,
done that. Earlier, I checked out what they have done, like what they've done with how they explained how to go online with the save file. Essentially, what they did, like they used my tool, copied the data, and then used a different tool to just
mm,
copy the map data and the designs onto another save file,
mhm,
which could go online. So it's like the
mm.
identification from the save file they used, but with the map data of the dump or with the
Right.
copy.
A lot of people wanted to know, like, is there anything from potentially being banned, even though it's pretty unlikely? Is there anything the average Animal Crossing player can do to just feel secure that they're safe?
So I assume like, I know it's like really difficult to tell this to people that are worried, but like I think like how you can like get your art stolen on like Twitter and
Mm,
whatever. It's similar to this. You can get your island stolen, and I think it's like up to Nintendo to do something about it. But like safety wise, I can just say, of course, it still can be copied, but like they shouldn't be worried about getting banned. But if they want to be extra safe, and don't want their islands to be copied, they can delete their dream. I know that's not a good solution. However, I just would have to wait on Nintendo to actually to enact countermeasures to
mm,
those people that actually re-upload the dreams. I don't think in itself copying an island is bad if it's just for like inspiration purposes and like archival purposes, which is what I actually endorse myself.
mhm.
And I don't know. I don't know how to make people feel safe about it. It's not something that could put them at risk of ban, as I said earlier.
Yeah, that's really great to know. I'm happy you cleared that up. I know people will be relieved. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of just like surprised Nintendo hasn't like said anything. I'm guessing like you can say if you agree or disagree, but like I'm guessing Nintendo doesn't really, I guess, put too much time and effort into this sort of happenings because this is not a competitive game. Do you agree or disagree or thoughts about that?
I think they actually don't really have the resources to like fully go against this current situation to like fully solve it, because that would include like actually like rebuilding the game or introduce some new features that make it more difficult to copy an island like this. But like with time, people would circumvent those methods anyway and still get the island data from it. So I don't think Nintendo can actually do something about it. And the only thing that probably isn't connected to the happenings right now, that like some updates ago, before that update that I'm referencing, they had the island data still available in the memory after you left the island, so you could like just visit someone and then later still decide, yes, I want to copy that island data. But now they just, after that update, they just override it, which is probably just, just a safety concern for them. But it doesn't really, it doesn't help with the situation. It doesn't make the tool any less usable. It's like it's still happening. It's still happening. And I still think if I take down the tool, it won't help anyway, because like it has been online, people will re-upload it, people still already have it. And I probably
Mm-hmm.
can't fix it myself. It's just that I don't have any option to fix the situation, and I hope that Nintendo can do something about it. And I assume in the end, maybe they will just delete the dream suit altogether, even though that's
Mm.
probably a horrible thing for most people to hear. I don't really know how they will go against it though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't read Nintendo's minds, but you still give a
Yeah.
lot of insight, so I appreciate that. I'm also just curious, like, when did you create your program? Like, how far after New Horizons was released that you made the program?
So it was like when I wasn't very interested in modding at first in the game. I was like, after New Leaf was like really toxic online with all the cheaters. I didn't want to mod the game. Later on in like, I think it was August 2020, when like, so later the year when the game released, they brought this stream feature out, and I was just like, I don't know, I was just like spawned to figure out how this works, how you can potentially get island data from it. It was more like
Mm.
an interesting like challenge for me. I didn't really plan on releasing it at first. So I did some research, and like a couple days later I was like able to copy some data from the dreams. But then I just like let it sit there for like a year. So like last year in 2021, at the end of the year, I think I released it for a short period of time. I just made some tool that essentially does like the manual work of copying the data onto an already existing save file. Just made it much easier and did it like in a couple of seconds, which would take myself like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, depending on how much I wanted to copy of the island. More so, as I said, it's more so like a tool that just made my manual labors less exhausting.
Right, right. I can definitely see your intentions in creating your program. One other thing. I know the program's on a computer, but do you need a modded Switch or a regular Switch to like begin the process?
The tool itself, it will run on a modded Switch. It doesn't run on your PC. It
Oh,
doesn't. It runs on the Switch natively. So yeah, you need a
hmm.
modded Switch for it.
Okay. I was under the impression it was on your computer, but on your Switch. Okay, that kind of makes more sense.
Yes, it's an
Okay.
homebrew app.
I see it. Okay. So like from GitHub, because I did see your GitHub page. I downloaded the program. You would just put it on the Switch, like a normal homebrew
Yeah.
app. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Ah. I know we kind of already touched on it, but can you just put into simple words how your program works just for like the average person who doesn't really code or really into this, just so they have kind of a clear picture in their mind.
Okay.
Simply.
Okay, so imagine you have a save file. That save file is split up between your island, which has all your map data, your villagers on it, and then you have a couple different save files that hold your player data, like what you look like, your inventory, your storage. So essentially, when you visit a dream, or any island, I like to take the example of a dream, get like half of the map data, or like you get half of the main save file, which includes like map data, the villagers, and like also the like part of the player that you visit. So you just have the information. Okay, what does this player look like? What is the map? And what villagers do they have? And this information is not in any way rearranged. It's basically the same format as your save file already. So it just takes that bit of data that is in the memory for the period of time where you visit someone and copies it onto another file, and it just works like that. It doesn't have any restrictions. It doesn't leave anything out besides the personal information. It doesn't have the capabilities to make your file to let you go online as the person that you copied. It just copies the map data and how the player looks, and that's all.
So your Animal Crossing identity is not stolen. Like, it's
No,
not a thing. Okay. Cool,
like I
cool.
mean, your island and your player will have the name of that island you copied. However, like internally, it doesn't have the same identification, so you can't get banned from it. That's essentially what I'm trying to tell people here, that they shouldn't be worried about getting banned from it. Of course, it's still bad that their art gets stolen, essentially, because people obviously pour thousands of hours in, and they obviously don't want their work just to be reposted, essentially. But they shouldn't be worried about getting banned. That's all.
To me, it's obvious the answer to this question, but people asked if players are using Nookazon. Do you know Nookazon? Are you familiar?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah. So do people need to be worried about because trading on that website anymore? Or are they good? They're not. Shouldn't be worried.
I don't think they should be worried, no. Of course, their islands can still be copied when someone visits them, but I don't think that most people gain anything from copying someone like that. Also, because most people that have this tool, can work with this tool, probably don't need to visit someone on Nukazon.
Good point. Right.
Because they have their own capabilities to get items and whatnot. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, they still can do it, but like, there's not really a point for them anyway. So, I don't think people should be worried. No.
And Animal Crossing is just a wholesome community. I feel like 99% of the time people aren't gonna get notices from Nintendo. They're not gonna. It's very unlikely that there's like these malicious people that they encounter, and that's what I want to make sure
Yes.
people like understand. Thank you so much for answering
Thank you for
them
having me.
and agreeing to the interview. I really appreciate it.
I probably repeated myself a lot. I just wanted to make it very
Mm-hmm.
clear to people that they shouldn't be worried about getting banned themselves. It just happens to be that some people copy their islands, but that's nothing that I can do about. Nintendo has to do something about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope that covers it up.
It does. It really answers all of our questions. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Poyo and that it answered many of your questions. And Poyo, if you're watching this, a huge thank you for clearing some things up. I know myself and the Animal Crossing community appreciates it. A huge thank you to my channel members for your continued support of me and my channel. Your support allows me to do these different kind of Animal Crossing videos. All of my channel members get access to my 24/7 treasure island. And if you don't know what a treasure island is, it's basically an Animal Crossing island filled with drop items on the ground that you can take. Currently, my treasure island has all of the new items from the 2.0 update, all of the holiday DIY sets and items, all of the new 2.0 Nook Mile items, all of the gyroids, all the hybrid flowers, the entire Sanrio set, all of the new DIYs and cooking recipes from the 2.0 update, all of the new food items, all of the crafting materials, and so much more. If you would like to become a member of my channel and get access to this 24/7 treasure island, you can click the link above or in the description. or on my channel homepage, you can click the blue join button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.